Welcome into Yelling from the Couch. Countdown's not working, but here we are. I'm Brent Humphreys, joined by Gage Bertovich. Gage, it's been a few months, and here we are, man. Good to see you, and good to get talking a little bit of football again, man. How's it going?
Going good, and I agree. Good to get back into football action. It's been a little bit, and a lot has happened. A lot has happened. A little bit more for one of our teams than
Doing
the
all
other,
right, and
but
just for the
it's
record,
still
we
there's a bit going
planned
on.
this
How you
show
doing?
out earlier in the week. We did not just jump on here and say, hey, there's some news that happened. It just so happened to break before we got on here to record. But yeah, there was a little bit of news yesterday, right? Last night involving your team.
Yeah, what, 16, 18 hours ago, it just gets reported that someone, Hall of Fame quarterback Aaron Rodgers, is coming to Pittsburgh. All I saw at first was that he was going to be attending minicamp and that he wasn't actually signed yet. And then I see, oh, yeah, they're signing him to a 1-year deal. I'm like, oh, all right, cool. So quarterback room, Mason Rudolph, Will Howard, Skylar Thompson, and now
Yeah,
a
like I said, the
ayahuasca
worst
Hall of
kept
Famer
secret
and Aaron
in
Rodgers.
the NFL right there was Aaron Rodgers signing with the Steelers, and here he is. He's here. He's in the AFC North now, and he joins quarterbacks in the AFC North like Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, and whatever they've got going on up there in Cleveland. We'll get to that after a while, but yeah, I mean, like you said, we talked before. You like the signing somewhat, right?
I somewhat do. I mean, it's a lot better option than the quarterbacks that we've played out the past couple years. Way better than a Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky duo, but that's not saying much. Excuse me. Better, better stats overall than the duo of Russ and Fields last year. Less picks, but more turnovers in total from that duo. So it's like, okay, maybe there's something to look forward to.
Might
Now,
sign
just my
Randall
only
Cobb.
question is, are they
Bring him out of
bringing Alan
retirement. Get him
Lazard
to
with
come up
them?
there, because he always brings his Green Bay guys, and seems like Alan Lazard's one of them. Randall Cobb, even though he's, like I said, hasn't played, but why not bring him back, throw him out there? You need somebody.
Yeah, Randall
Yeah, why
Cobb,
not? I
Jordy
mean,
Nelson,
because
Donald Driver. Why not?
Pittsburgh
Let's just
signed
bring them
DK
all.
Metcalf earlier in the offseason, right? And then what I thought was a surprising move, they shipped off George Pickens to the Cowboys.
Yeah, they did. I I have mixed feelings about that one. He had 1 year left on his rookie deal. Likely they weren't going to extend him. They weren't going to re-sign him. You gave Metcalf the big contract. You still got to sign TJ. You got to figure out what you're doing at this quarterback spot. You have other positions of need. So why not get something for him? Now, do I think they could have gotten more than a third and a fifth? Or was that what it was? I think, or second, or whatever it was. Could they have gotten a first round pick for him? Probably. I mean, Cowboys are likely going to have a receiver duo over 1,000 yards this year if Dak can just stay healthy. And who knows, Pickens and CD might go over double-digit touchdowns as well, both. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. But in a way, I'm happy that his kind of drama antics are gone. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I was so excited to have probably the top duo in the NFL there for a couple weeks. At least we had it. Yeah, it just means you're not going to have a defense. And, that just so happens to play out in certain situations. And I guess as long as your offense can put up, 50 points and the defense only allows 49, you still win. So so what's the deal? What is going on in Cincinnati with Trey Hendrickson? Yeah. I kind of hope so. Hendrickson's a good player. He's one of those guys that's just like you never hear any drama about him besides for this. Uh, never any troubles. He just goes out there and he plays good football. Yeah. Yeah. hmm hmm I'm kind of feeling the same way right now with the Steelers and trying to extend TJ. Like they've given him an offer, and Watt has not agreed to it, obviously. But I think he wants paid more than per year than what Miles Garrett is getting. And I mean, I don't know the Steelers' cap situation, but I don't know if they can do it. I mean, if you do it, you're almost going to have to do what you did to Big Ben's contract and backload it as much as possible. So this way, like, you can have DK's contract. You can have these other people that you had. You just signed your first round pick, Derek Harmon. So it's like there's these people that, need the money as well. And it's going to be interesting to see what deal can get done if one gets done. No. I assume so. Between Jalen Warren, they drafted a guy, and I can't remember his name right now, but then they also signed Kenneth Gainwell in free agency. Um, yeah, not a lot going on at the running back position. Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can find the contract for Aaron Rodgers, but nothing seems to be reported right now. I remember. Oh, maybe PennLive.com has it. Let's see here. Uh, yeah. Oh, 1 year. Thanks. That doesn't help. I'm looking for money. I I I do remember that he did say like back when he was on the McAfee show that he would play just for like 10 million. So I'm curious if that's actually what the agreement was. I don't know. Be interesting to see what comes out from there. Yeah, I was, I was just about to say, never bet the under in a Cincinnati game. Yeah. Hmm. I have no idea. I mean, they may have more, but you got Flacco. You traded for Kenny Pickett. You got rid of DTR, which I kind of feel bad for the guy, but he might actually go win the Super Bowl now. You drafted Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders. Do they have any more? Deshaun, yeah, somewhere. You don't hear about him right now. You're hearing about the other four, but nothing about Watson. So maybe he's still, I don't know, going out and getting massages. Who knows? But it is it's a quarterback room. That is for sure. I don't know what they're gonna do. I mean, do you cut one of your two draft picks? Do you cut Gabriel? You drafted Sanders later. He was expected to be a first round pick. He fell hard in the draft. You signed Joe Flacco. He's basically your mentor to the younger guys because you don't have anyone else who is a trusted vet. You traded for Kenny Pickett from Philly. You gave up DTR and a draft pick for it. And then you got Mr. Moneybags, Deshaun Watson, who, and no one knows what's going on there. But what is going on and why are they doing this? Yeah. I mean, this draft timeline for Shador is crazy. You go from likely going to be a first round draft pick to, oh, okay, someone will take me early second round. And then you wait a couple days to get drafted. And now you're put on the Cleveland Browns practice squad. That would be an all time embarrassment for him. I think so. I think it was Jacksonville, yeah. That oh man, that is just so funny though. And then the Falcons get punished for it with some hefty fines. Now that would have been funny if it was like a division rival that you did it with. Like, hey, this is so and so from the Baltimore Ravens. We're drafting you. Yeah, I feel like it's going to be Russ as a starter, Jameis as the backup, Dart as the third. Just because they sign Russ, they give him more money than what they give Winston. That tells me right there, it's your job to lose. Winston has always been great as a backup. Don't really put him as a starter. He'll throw a lot of 30-30 seasons, but give him as the backup, he'll do just fine. And then Jackson Dart, I think, is just the guy to mentor. He was the guy I was hoping Pittsburgh would draft. Second round, third round, maybe. I didn't think Dart would be a first rounder, but I don't think anyone really did. And then when the Giants trade up and take him, I'm sitting in a hotel room with my dad in Pittsburgh, and we just look at each other like, "What? Like that's insane." But I have high hopes for that kid. But it's also in the Giants system, so I really, I thoughts and prayers to Jackson Dart in his NFL career. The- yeah, maybe they maybe they go back and forth each week. I mean, there's what 17 games, so one gets 9, one gets 8, and we'll see how it goes from there. Maybe I don't really know. Yeah, I was gonna say Flacco was decent for he had like a 3-5 year span of okay. I I think Mayo Man has lost his job. He can go do some more commercials for different Mayo brands. Yeah, I feel like right now all the media attention is on just the other quarterbacks right now. I mean, they're facing a lot in Cleveland, and we just talked about that with the Aaron Rodgers signing. I've heard more from the Saints quarterback room with their catastrophe than I've heard from with Cam Ward. You would think, being the number one overall pick, every great thing that he's doing in OTAs and minicamp would be focused on, and every terrible thing that he has done would really be focused on. But it seems like you're not hearing anything. So is he playing? Like, what's going on? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that Yeah, I think his name after a little bit is going to be Tyler Suck. I mean, he joined Spencer Rattler and Jay Kaner in a quarterback room. Oh, and they also signed an undrafted free agent. I've never heard of this guy, but Hunter Deckers. Don't know anything about him, but yeah, those are the four quarterbacks in the Saints room right now. Yeah, you know what? This really makes me think that maybe the Steelers aren't as bad off as I thought they were. I'll put this one out here. So I'm looking up the stats for Hunter Deckers, right? Iowa State played in 2020, played in 2021, played in 2022. He has no stats after 2022. Um, he had, a career year in 2022, played in 12 games, had a 66 percentage completion rate, 3,044 yards, 19 touchdowns to only a conference best 14 interceptions. So I don't have much hope for this guy either. I don't even know why he hasn't played the last, 2, 3 years. So I don't know what's going on here. Oh, that's what I'm now. Maybe his stats aren't put up there. Adam Schefter, I'm looking at a thing from 3 weeks ago, says he played last season at Iowa Western, completing 64 percentage of passes and a school record 3,800 yards and 32 touchdowns. So I guess when you go to a really smaller school, one, your stats don't get kept track of in sportsreference.com. And also, you can set a school record, make yourself look good, and join a quarterback room where you're not going to learn anything. Or who knows? He might get a bigger chance and go to the United Football League in the UFL. They have their conference championship this Sunday, so yeah, I'm a DC Defenders guy. You might see me posting on my Instagram story every once in a while after a win or after a great play, but it's bad football. it, it is not good. It's fun to watch because these guys they're playing to get back in the league, but it's been something. Your league leader and rusher doesn't even have 1,000 yards, I don't think. So it's something to go off of. But we got the UFL championship game this Sunday. I believe it's the Defenders and the St. Louis Battlehawks. So hey, maybe I think that's Max Duggan's team. I could be wrong, but I think that's his. So yeah, well, I think so. Was he? So yeah, yeah, just a little bit. So Max Duggan versus Jordan Talmu. I'm all for it, and I actually get to watch it. No, I don't. I'm working. Never mind. So I'll see the final score afterwards, and I'll watch Instagram highlights. Uh, it's dinner time, 6 p.m. So yeah, yeah. So uh, Probably $250. Yeah, no idea. I I would really hope so because wow, if not, what if it's more? What if it's more than the Super Bowl? I think. I think. I I don't know. Last I saw, um, actually, apparently the championship game's next Sunday. I still have to work, but still, um, yeah. I'm trying to think. Last time I saw who was doing Joe Tessitore was doing the last DC game that I watched. The only reason I recognize his name is because he does pro wrestling as well. So otherwise, I like the other guy he was with. I was like, I have no idea. Yeah. Okay, so the way it's working out, so Sunday there's the conference championship games. So the USFL conference championship game, Michigan Panthers and the Birmingham Stallions, 3 p.m. on ABC, ESPN Plus, and Disney Plus. And then the XFL conference championship game is the DC Defenders, St. Louis Battlehawks, CPM on Fox. And then the championship games next Sunday, 8 p.m., ABC, ESPN, Disney, between the winners of the conference championship games. Yeah, a little bit of prime time going on. I'm willing to bet that there's not going to be any weird animations or anything like that. Ugh. I. What are they trying to do out in Vegas? Because I really don't know. Yeah, good move. Yeah. Yeah. I But to be fair, like when Genty went up against good teams, I look at Penn State. He still had great games, so it's not like it's a awful. I don't want to say it's a great pick, but it's not one that you're like, why this guy? You know, that you look at the running back situation last year in Vegas, Zamir White and Alexander Madison. It feels like they combined for 1.3 yards per carry. It was not good at all. I don't think they went out and signed anybody running back wise. I could be wrong, but I don't think they did. So it's like, okay, you add Genty to the backfield. Chip Kelly makes him change his stance and actually makes him, bend down a little bit instead of standing straight up like a statue. You got Geno now, so hopefully this will take a little bit of pressure off of him. And Geno's always been a good quarterback, so I think that's a good move for them. Wide receiver wise, it's going to be, touch and go. Excuse me, I think they brought back Hunter Renfro after working as a disposed, garbage recycling man for a season. So be interested to see what happens. Is he practice squad or is he the number one? I don't really know at this point. You still got Trey Tucker, you got Jacoby Myers, so I'm looking at 6 wins maybe for the Vegas Raiders next year. Yeah. Well, it was originally 5 wins, and then they brought in Pete Carroll, and I'm like, okay, 6 wins. No, not at all. They might beat the Chiefs. Hey, they always have the Chiefs numbers, so that's all I can say. They should have beat them once last year, but a little bit of controversy in that game. Well, in the off season when it's the Chiefs and OTAs maybe going 7-on-7s, then there's probably not any controversy. But even then, who knows? Mhm. Yeah, and it's kind of scary. I mean, they're getting Rashi Rice back, hopefully, so that should be a good addition. You still got Worthy. I think they still have D Hop. So Mahomes is going to have a little bit better weapons this year. So maybe he's back in the MVP conversation. Maybe he throws for 50 touchdowns again this year, or maybe the NFL finally figures him out and doesn't let him continue this spree. Except for in the Super Bowl against Philly, I guess. Yeah. I think the Eagles are looking at a downfall this year, just because the other day the NFL Madden cover was announced, and it's Saquon Barkley doing his backwards hurdle over the Jacksonville Jaguars defensive back, and we know how the Madden curse works. So I'm looking at Saquon Barkley under 1,000 yards this year and possibly a torn ACL. Eh, As someone who has Philly as their in-state rival, I can't say I don't hope it doesn't happen. Yeah, I never want to wish injuries on a guy, but if it were to happen to someone, it couldn't happen to a nicer guy. Well, yeah, usually when you say it couldn't happen to a nicer guy, that's sarcasm. This is actually this isn't sarcastic. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. I don't think he should have won the Heisman. I mean, he wasn't top 10 in either position, but it's like, okay, he can play both, so let's put all the hype around him. He was a decent wide receiver. He wasn't horrible. And then he was an okay defensive back. So should he, first of all, win the Heisman? No. I think that should have been Gentry's award to win. Should he been drafted second overall? No. I don't think so. Maybe late first round, mid first round, sure, but not a top 2 draft pick. Yeah, he can play both sides of the ball, but can he at an NFL level? He's going to get tired, really quick. And he has a higher chance of getting hurt, especially if you let him play full time both sides. I understand the point of, one player, two positions, one roster spot, but I don't think it's a good idea to let him play both. If you're going to have him play, one or the other, let him strictly focus on that. But he also doesn't want to do that, and he wants to play both sides. So I don't really know what's the best route for him for here. Maybe defensive back, since Jacksonville's defense is awful, and their offense is kind of okay, wide receiver wise. But I don't know. What do you think? Mhm, mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Uh, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I don't have the Jacksonville Jaguar defensive back room in my mind off the top of the head, but I can't imagine they have great guys in there. I mean, I think they still have Andre Cisco. He was a decent safety, and outside of that, I don't really know. And you talked about McMillan. McMillan went to Carolina, I believe it was, as a first round draft pick. Yeah. Yeah. And then you'll have all the people saying, oh, well, he needs to do better conditioning, better conditioning. I don't think you understand at an NFL level that people on one side of the ball get exhausted. How are you going to play 120, 130 snaps and be like, all right, yeah, I feel fine. My body feels great. I'm not tired. I'm not about to go back to the hotel and take a 5 hour nap. Sure. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you know what? He might be cornerback number 1 or 2. Yeah, I can't really say I knew any of the names besides for Tyson Campbell and Andre Wingard that you said. So, oh, that's right, he did. Yeah, okay. They only have two wide receivers. Jacksonville, fix your stuff. What are we doing? Right into the ground. Sure. Okay. Cornerback, yeah, cornerback 1 or 2, wide receiver 4. Okay, I'm feeling it. Give him a jet sweep every once in a while. Let him get his clock cleaned, and then come back out to play defense. God. Yeah. I can't really blame him. I like the reasoning that LT gave for it. Go and make your own history behind a number. So I can't really say, oh, he should be giving him permission to wear it. Like, first of all, if you want to wear it, prove yourself. Have a great rookie season, have a great sophomore season, and then re-ask LT. Maybe then he'll be like, yeah, well, go ahead. I don't care. But yeah, I will never understand these players that are like, oh, I want to wear this Hall of Fame player's number. Why? Go out and make history in your own number. Yeah, yeah. You you better win Defensive Player of the Year. Get maybe one or two MVP votes as well. Defensive Rookie of the Year, and have double-digit sacks every season you play. Yeah. I mean, you want to talk about draft picks as well. I think the Giants had probably one of the better draft classes this year. You get Abdul Carter, you get your top defensive guy at number 3, you get your quarterback of the future by trading back into the first round. After that, it's just like, oh, now it's just icing on the cake. This is going to be awesome. Hopefully, it all pans out, but for right now, it seems like it should. Yeah. Overall, I like it. Um, you're starting out defensive tackle and Derek Harmon, and that's just one. We lost Larry Ogunjobi to Buffalo. He gets suspended as well. um, but that's former Bengal. I feel like he's played every AFC North team, but but you have him, replace Larry Ogunjobi, and he's looking to be the defensive tackle of the future. Cam Hayward, he only has a couple years left, still playing at a high caliber level, but that time's going to come to an end. They also needed someone else huge in there to be a run stopper because Pittsburgh was ran all over last year when Hayward and Ogunjobi wouldn't play. Then your next draft pick, Caleb Johnson, in round 3, running back out of Iowa. I kind of could see this guy being the day one starter. I mean, he's built like Najee Harris is. His pro comp comparison was Najee. Najee goes to the Chargers. We get this one in. It's like a turnstile right now of big bad running backs. So I'm okay with that one. You got Jack Sawyer, Ohio State. Their edge player, really, really known for the big play in the championship game. Yeah. Yeah. Good Johnson is just great. I love him. But I think you pair Sawyer up with TJ and Alex Highsmith. You have those 3 rotating. You have one of the Herbig brothers. I forget if it's Nate or Nick. I think it's Nick Herbig, who's the other edge rusher. But that's going to be, I think that's going to be good. I'm not a big Ohio State fan, not really a big fan of their players, but I'm okay with that one. And then I'm going to mispronounce this guy's name. They drafted another defensive tackle out of Iowa. I said Yaya, but I don't think that's right. But Yaya Black, we'll say. I'm okay with that as well. I mean, so far we've gotten two people from Iowa, two people. I haven't gotten to the next one yet, but two people from Ohio State, two defensive tackles. They've gone mainly defense in this one, and I'm liking it. Your next pick, quarterback, hopefully of the future, Will Howard out of Ohio State. It's also an Ohio State quarterback, so I'm very scared because they don't translate well to the NFL. You have Justin Fields, and then who'd Ohio State have before that? Dwayne Haskins. Well, we know what happened with him. Yeah, not a good quarterback college is Ohio State. CJ Stroud, yeah, but even then, he had a down year last year. Great rookie season, down year last year. What's he going to do this year? Yeah, they can't do that. But I like Will Howard. He's big. He's got the same stature that Big Ben has. And so it's like, okay, maybe, hopefully. I saw a thing the other day. Don't know if it's true or not, but apparently Tom Brady had the record for OTA passing touchdowns at 36. And on the last day of OTAs, Will Howard had 30. So he was looking to break the record. Don't know if he actually did. I don't even know if that's true, but I like to think it's true. The next, yeah, sounds great. Your first pick in round 7, linebacker Carson Bruner out of Washington. Again, just another defensive guy adding to the linebacker core. I like that. And then 3 picks later, you go and take a corner slash returner, Dante Kent out of Central Michigan. If he's playing mainly a returner role, I actually like that. You know, we had Cordell Patterson last year doing returns, and he didn't have any return touchdowns, which we were all hoping for. And then you also had Calvin Austin, who did have a return touchdown. He had it against the Giants in prime time. So if you can put Dante Kent as mainly your return guy, let the other guys focus on their main position. I have no problem with this draft class being all mainly defense, besides for running back and a quarterback. Yeah, yeah, no, I hope not. I said so. My dad's not a big fan of Aaron Rodgers, and we were sitting at dinner last night, and they were showing stats, like I think it was ESPN, but just going across like the ticker on the screen, and he was like, oh, 3,900 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 interceptions isn't bad. I was like, yeah, it's better than our quarterbacks combined last year. He was like, well, he had more picks. I was like, yeah, he didn't have as many turnovers though. And he's like, well, I just said interceptions. I'm like, a turnover is a turnover. I would rather have an interception be thrown because it's likely that they're farther away from scoring than an offense. So, well, I think back to the game against Pittsburgh where he threw 2 interceptions, both to Beanie Bishop. The one was right in the receiver's hands. It just whoop, pops up. Beanie Bishop catches it, almost takes it back for 6. He gets tackled by Devontae at like the 2-yard line. Yeah. But how long before Steelers they go out and they trade for Devonte Adams from the Rams and give him a 4th round pick? They have all these draft picks for next year. Maybe they save them because the draft is in Pittsburgh. Maybe they go out and spend a little bit. Or do they trade up? Do they go and trade for a quarterback? I don't know. No, I think I think these two are actually going to be good together. He might get Arthur Smith fired, but not Mike Tomlin. Uh, yeah, I get. I know you're. Uh, 24. Hackett. Yeah. God, please no. Oh, oh, you're not putting these good thoughts in my head. I'm not liking this. Mm-hmm. Did they officially sign him yet? Maybe they trade him away. Can you trade away a player you haven't officially signed yet, but you drafted them? He's joining. Well, he's joining what's his face from the Saints. Deckers, Hunter Deckers. Yeah, I was gonna say, whoa. The actually, there is something good I could say about the Pirates. Their starting rotation is phenomenal. Their top four, Skeens, Keller, Falter, and Andrew Heaney, have they've been lights out. Don't look at Mitch Keller's game from last night, but overall they've been lights out. 5 earned against the Astros, but Skeens is doing Skeens stuff. He's gonna be a Yankee or a Dodger by the end of his career. Um, Bailey Falter, they traded for to get him from the Phillies last year for Rodolfo Castro. I didn't like the trade at first, but he has been phenomenal. Castro's batting 200 in AAA. And then they go out and they sign Andrew Heaney, who, he's what he have last season, a 5 ERA with Texas. And he's come out and he's been great in Pittsburgh. I'm like, what is going on? Why is Pittsburgh great with their starting pitchers that they signed veteran wise? And I think a lot of it has to do with there's no pressure. You have no pressure to go out there and not let the team down because the rest of the team's going to let you down anyways. You give up one run, you're not likely to get the win at that point. So it's like this has been great. And then they turn it over to the bullpen. And it's like, all right, well, this game's done. Anything good you could say about the yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. What was it? The Rockies and the Marlins played yesterday, I think it was, and had like 170 people at the game, maybe. But just looking at the Pirates, yeah, not a lot to go off of. That's good, but couple bright spots. Kebron Hayes, he's been great defensive wise. Gold Glover at third base, but just offensive wise, he started out swinging the bat hot, and it's just been boom, right downhill from there. Um, yeah, I was thinking Brent was going to come back here. I don't know if he is, but one of the other guys I wanted to talk to him about was Nick Solak, former Red. He was up in the bigs for a little bit, batted 120, got sent back down to the minors. He's batting like 300 in the minors. So, yeah, I don't really know what to say about that one, besides for I hope he comes into his own. But Pittsburgh just has so many middle infielders that I don't even know if he's going to have a shot. Brent, I see you're back here. I was just talking about Nick Solak, former Red, and how he was up in the majors here for a couple weeks, batted like 120, but he's a minor league 300 hitter with Pittsburgh this season. So not a lot to look forward to with that one.
Yeah, I think when I dropped off here, it was we was talking about how at least we're not the Rockies.
Yeah.
Man, the run difference for them is a minus 181 for the season, 12
Well,
wins.
I saw they just played. I forget if it was yesterday or a couple days ago against the Marlins, and had like 170 people in attendance at the game.
Oh man,
that's not even enough to pay one player, let alone everyone.
So, do they have less people than what the A's have normally?
Potentially.
The A's finally beat somebody in attendance.
Yeah. They have less people than Pittsburgh does for a Wednesday afternoon game.
Oh man, it's there's some bad baseball out there, but we see it.
Two of the teams that are bad are our teams.
Yeah, as I was saying, we see it on a daily basis. But the Reds got the Diamondbacks for a weekend series here, so I'm not excited about it. I mean, even if you sweep them, you're still like the Cubs. Like the Cubs don't look like they should be that good, and they're 9.5 games ahead of the Reds right now.
Yeah.
And then the stupid Cardinals have been playing great for the last few weeks.
I hate it. Get them out of here.
And then we got the Brewers coming on. It's like, come on.
I need Pittsburgh to go on a 10-game winning streak. You'll still be 7 games under 500, but at least then you'll be, in the running a little bit, as you're currently sitting at 16.5 behind, first place.
Yeah, at least you could get into some sort of maybe wild card. I don't know. Wild card's probably out of reach too for both of us right now, I'm sure.
It's more out of reach for us than for you guys, but yeah, I would say so.
Who is it, like Philly and St. Louis?
I don't
San Diego.
Know. I'm kind of like I know. So Pittsburgh's next series comes against Philly, and I hope they sweep Philly and just completely, take away all their momentum and just knock them down right now. That'd be great.
I was excited a few weeks ago. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati played a 3-game series, and I'm like, sweet, we don't get to see Paul Skeens. And then the Reds dropped 2 or 3 to him, and I'm like,
Yeah, the first series between Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, Cincinnati sweeps Pittsburgh, and I just get a message from you. It's just 3 broom emojis. Okay. And then next series, take 2 out of 3, and I'm like, you know what? It's not a sweep, but it feels just as good.
Yeah, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, huh? Well, man, that'll do it for us this week here. We will probably get back on here a little bit more consistently now, and then when football season comes in, boom. I'll tell you what, though, if the Reds and the Pirates were playing a whole lot better, we'd be on here every week yelling about these 2 teams.
maybe they'll each get on a 10, 11 game win streak, and then we'll be like, oh my god, like we have to do it more.
Yeah. Because I can't sit here and I can't be like, you know what, the Yankees look really good right now. I love seeing Aaron Judge come out here. No, I ain't doing all that.
The one guy I do like seeing for them, Paul Goldschmidt, I thought he was done. That short porch in New York, the stadium there has helped him a lot. And I think just being in a very nice lineup has helped him a lot. He's doing great.
Yeah.
And yeah, I know he was a former Cardinal, but still like to see him succeed.
Yeah, he has a lot of protection in that lineup now, and it's helping him out a lot, I think. But that'll do it for us here this week, and we'll see you all next time.
Later.